What's up? Got another tutorial. I'll make this quick. Before you watch any more of this video, if you do not have a Raspberry Pi, you're wasting your time. Don't watch this, just click away. If you do have a Raspberry Pi, perfect. Make sure that you do have some sort of Bluetooth functionality. The one that I have has it built in, which is nice. But from my understanding, there are some out there that don't have Bluetooth capability. So you're going to want to buy a USB adapter for it. And additionally, the second piece that you're going to need for this tutorial is a USB Bluetooth adapter for your PlayStation or a smart TV. I'm pretty sure all of the smart TVs have some sort of Bluetooth, so that should work. Ideally, if you have a smart TV, go with that option because you're going to have a lot of wireless dongles around, and that's your preference. I don't know. I think that's too much. So in this one, I'm going to be using a Samsung Smart TV, my PlayStation, obviously, and then a Raspberry Pi 4 or 3 or something like that has Bluetooth built into it. I'm going to run through how to get everything set up from start to finish, and then demonstrate the functionality for you as well. So without, what transition we're using here? Fuck it. All right, getting on to the tutorial. All right, so I would like to say, before getting directly into this tutorial, that this is a very beginner level tutorial. If you have a Raspberry Pi, you probably know how to do all of this already, at least getting it all set up, and you can go through the instructions and so on. So I'm going to brief over this because I don't want to waste too much of your time. But there's going to be a lot of likely pausing of the video and also doing things on your own, because I'm not literally going to do step by step by step. It's going to take 30 minutes, and nobody's got time for that. But I will show everything from a high level view. So you're going to want the imager, the Raspberry Pi imager. Let's assume you haven't had it set up yet. So you're going to want to have it, the micro SD card, some sort of converter, or unless your computer has it built in, plug it in, select your storage. It'll come up here with your micro SD card. And then you're going to want to choose your OS. I just did the recommended one, nothing more. And then additionally, there's some stuff here that you might want to set up just for convenience. If you do have a spare monitor, you do have a spare HDMI cable, you do have a spare keyboard and mouse, then you don't need to really do this. But if you're the type of person that doesn't have that, or you're the type of person that just doesn't want to deal with that, I would recommend that you configure your Wi-Fi, and then also configure SSH. And then with SSH, there's various other things that you can do from there. But at least with SSH, with a client, you can get into the box and do these things without needing a monitor, keyboard, and mouse. So make sure that you set this up. I mean, that's, again, optional, but for convenience and it's just easier. Just go and do this. Have it set up, enable SSH, be able to get into the box. Once you do that, it's going to format the drive. It's going to install the operating system. And then you're going to pop the card out. It'll tell you when. And then you're going to slap the card into the Raspberry Pi and then plug the power source in. Unless you typed your password in wrong for your Wi-Fi, it'll get connected to the Wi-Fi. It'll do all that stuff that you're going to want to have done. It's not going to look like this. Hopefully you can see this RDP screen. But you're going to want to download, and I'll put a link in the description, the RDP client. This will allow you to visually see what's going on, which makes it a little bit easier, especially if you're not, really an in-depth developer. But likely you are if you have a Raspberry Pi. I don't see why somebody with, no skill in any, unless they're new, they're a beginner. Not gonna judge you. So if you have the RDP client here, link in the description. Have it set up, really simple to do. And then once you're there, you just want to go and search up remote desktop connection, and then type in the username and password that you have set. I think by default, the password or the username will be pi, and then the password is whatever you set. So again, make sure you have that set correctly. Once you're in here, you're going to want to open up the client terminal. And I have another thing I will link in the description here. This, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but going off of the built-in Bluetooth for the device, and I connect my smart TV into it, I noticed that the audio was choppy, the audio was laggy, and it just wasn't functional. And that could just be some corrupted files. I doubt it. It was a new install. Or it could just be me not really mentally keeping track of the timeline and thinking that this was the problem when it wasn't, or whatever. I don't know. However, I found this by doing various tutorials for people trying to set up the Raspberry Pi as a Bluetooth speaker. And one of the things, all the tutorials were saying to use Blues as the Bluetooth configuration module. Don't use it. It sucks. I think it made the thing worse than what it really is. And somebody recommended to use gmrender. And this is really simple to set up. Just follow the instructions here. These are all commands. You want to make sure, obviously, that you get the RPK. Make sure you have the most recent up-to-date kernel. Make sure that you just run it step by step. And at the end of it, you're going to do a reboot. And then you can do a PS grep for the actual like gmrender executable running. So this is really simple. I don't want to waste your time doing it step by step. Just go through this. It's all here. I'll have it linked. Once you have that set up, you're going to want to go back to, whoops, don't want to go full screen on that. You want to go back here, and you want to set your device to discoverable, which happens to actually, here it is. So you want to set the device to discoverable, and then we will go and switch over to my TV, and I'll show you how to get that connected if you do have the same TV. If not, this is something you're going to have to do by yourself. But let me go ahead and switch over to that. Alright, so sorry about the audio change here, just switching to my phone. So on mine, this is obviously going to be different unless you do have the same TV. But you're going to want to go to settings, and this is what the device will look like when you go to pair a Bluetooth device. So I go to my speakers list. So here you'll see it says Raspberry Pi. I'm sure somewhere in the configuration you can change that, but it's really not necessary. Make sure you connect, obviously, and yep, you'll be good to go there. If you have a Bluetooth dongle that you're using, like an adapter to connect this to, hopefully you know what you're doing there, because I don't know if I can help you. But now that you have that connected, let me do the physical connection part that you're going to need for the Raspberry Pi. Also, now that I'm at this point, you're going to want an auxiliary cable, but hopefully you have that. So let me go there. Alright, so please excuse the rat's nest, but as you can see, I've got my Raspberry Pi just sitting back here, and I've also got an auxiliary cable, just a normal standard. This one's actually from my Skull Candy headphones, and I'm gonna want to take that cable and plug it into the audio in on my computer. That means that this is a microphone, because of course we're connecting from the TV or the Bluetooth device to the Raspberry Pi, which makes it an audio output from the auxiliary out. So something funny I guess you can do with your friends is set your microphone to the Raspberry Pi line in, and that'll be your microphone. So anything that goes through there will actually, show up on Discord. or anywhere else, whatever you're trying to do. So yeah, that's all you need for this. On the hardware side, physical hardware side, auxiliary in, and then make sure obviously it's plugged into the Raspberry Pi. So now at this point you should be, from your TV, you should be getting audio streaming from your PlayStation to your TV, and then your TV should be replicating that to the Raspberry Pi via Bluetooth, and then your auxiliary cable from your Raspberry Pi to the line in on your computer. So let's switch back to the computer. All right, now that we're back on the computer, this is sort of where the magic happens. And barring Microsoft not fucking with this, you will always have this functionality, at least you should. So you want to right-click on your speaker insignia there on the bottom and click on Sounds. And for your recording devices, you now should see a line in available for you to set your microphone to. So we don't want to set it to that. We want to keep your device as your headphones. And the further I get into this tutorial without a script, I realize there's more things you're going to want. A wireless headset is the very last thing that you need. Hopefully you have that. Most people have that. If you don't, I'm sorry I took this long to tell you that. So you want to set your microphone to it because that's how you're going to be communicating to your friends on Discord. You can also go into Discord and set the audio device, and then keeping your sound settings as your headphones. So I have them stuck as a HyperX. If I was just on my computer, I'd have it set to my microphone because I have a line in on the microphone, and then my recording would be that too. But since I'm recording off of the mic, I have it set to that. So to recap, you're going to want to set your microphone to the headset that you're using, and you can either do it here or you can do it on Discord. Why we're here in the sound settings is because on line in, you want to select it, go to properties, and then you should have a tab here to listen, and we're going to select to listen to device. And then now we want to select the playback device, set it to your wireless headphones, and then click OK. And then now, I don't know if you can hear this. I'm hearing the menu music for Hitman on my TV, on my PlayStation. If you can't hear this, maybe you can. I'm going to go ahead and actually disable that because I don't want this to happen twice, just in case you are able to. But let me go ahead and set my microphone into the line in, and I will record. So now we should be hearing the game audio, the game music. And that should be enough, and then we'll play back. So that was the Hitman main menu music. So yeah, that's all set up. So now you have, to recap the whole thing, you have your PlayStation sending audio to your TV, or if you're using a Bluetooth dongle, that's separate. And then from the dongle or to your TV, it's Bluetooth communicating to your Raspberry Pi. And then from your Raspberry Pi, you have an auxiliary cable from its output, there's only one on the Pi, to the line in on your computer, while also maintaining the audio from your headphones that are connected to your computer. So you have basically a dual channel audio going through, and then you can set your microphone to your headset. So now with that functionality, I can sit on my couch, talk to my friends on Discord, while also listening to the game I'm playing. So I'm all locked in and doing everything that we were sort of hoping Discord would allow us to do when we were told that it would be on the PlayStation. One other thing that I would recommend doing to get the best audio possible is go to properties again on the line in, and under advanced, set it to the highest you can. I have it set to 24-bit, 2-channel studio quality. Just click OK. And now you should have, pretty solid audio quality, to be honest. What's some things to keep in mind here? Remember about the audio when you connect your TV or dongle into the Pi. Remember that it will have about a 1 to 2 second delay, and then after about 2 minutes, it'll sync back up. The technical reason why that's happening, I'm not sure. It probably has something to do with either existing interference or it has something to do with the hardware. But eventually it catches itself up and it's perfect in sync, absolutely no delay. Occasionally you'll get a little bit of an audio crackle, maybe even a not complete audio disconnect, but you might get some times where it cuts out, like a typical Bluetooth device experiencing interference, that type of sound. That doesn't happen often, and those are things that you can mitigate yourself. And by often, I mean it'll happen like once every 30 minutes or so. And that's, again, something that you can mitigate. So if you're experiencing that, you're likely experiencing interference, so make sure your Bluetooth device isn't surrounded by, your Raspberry Pi is not surrounded by, I don't know, metal, or you somehow stuck it in like a lead box or something. And, make sure it's out in the open and has like a clear sight from the device sending data to it. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. So now you should have that ability, and then anytime that you want to switch over, if you're, PC gaming to playing games on your PlayStation, all it is just setting the audio to that Raspberry Pi device, and then making sure what I just showed you is all good to go. So it's really simple. It sucks that we have to do this workaround. There might be other workarounds out there, but I found this one to be the very best one. So thank you for watching, and maybe I'll have a follow-up. Probably not. So until next time.